Hello and welcome to the In the Pen podcast, a podcast about relievers, part of the Pitcher List podcast network. My name is Jake Crumpler, and as always, I'm joined by Pitcher List's bullpen expert, Rick Graham. Rick, how you doing? How are your fantasy leagues going this year? How are you performing in them? Where are you in the standings?
I mean, I'm not in like the tank in any of them. I'm in the top like 8 in every league, like between 2 and 8. It varies. I mean, the last couple weeks have been just brutal on the injury front for me. Which I can't complain. Like the first month wasn't bad injury wise, but the last couple weeks it's just like it's water has has found its level, I guess, and like I'm starting to get hit with those injuries that other teams were. So trying to play that game when there's limited IL spots or no IL spots at all. So like I think at TGFBI now, I think last week I had one guy on the IL on my bench, and now my whole bench is IL. Like everyone's IL on my bench. Yeah, so it's like trying to survive at this point and not fall too far behind while guys get healthy, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, what's your strategy in deep leagues like that? Do you hold on to guys that are going to be out for a month, or you just dropping and churning guys and saying, you know what, somebody else can have this guy. He's borderline. Depends on the guy.
I'm not good at it. Yeah, I know. I've gotten better, but like my first couple of years in those formats, it's like I was always holding on to guys too long, and like I think if you're looking at like a month or like a month plus, timetable, you better be. Like it's got to be like a significant piece. Like you got to be like a significant contributor to hold on to that. So like it's frustrating because it's like guys like Hader, it's like still holding on, and it's like they kind of push back the timetables, and it's like maybe now it's June, and it's like I really kind of regret that now because like maybe he's gonna give me a great 3 months, but it just kind of sacrifices you're just holding on to that spot, and you're not able to pick up guys because you can't drop them. It's just kind of handicaps you. So
totally,
I should do better. Yeah, I should limit like I think you can have like one of those guys. Like I've been holding Garrett Cole in one league, and like that feels fine, and that feels like it's gonna pay off the way he's been throwing, and now he's back on Friday. So but like Jackson Holly was another one where it's just like I regret that because I thought he
didn't start him yesterday.
I didn't realize he was going to be back yesterday, and then so here we go.
I have Blake Snell in one league, so I don't even think I activated him the week that he was back. Yeah,
that's the worst. They come back one game and then they're back.
Well, and I didn't even activate him for that week because I didn't know he was coming back. So I got nothing out of Blake Snell, and now it's at the point where he's going to miss 2 months. Probably should drop him, but you have that like sunk cost fallacy of well, I've already held him for 2 months, might as well keep going.
Hopefully that new surgery, that whatever surgery, gets him back.
Nano arthroscopic, I think.
Yeah. I mean, Robbie Snelling is like another one I drafted in a lot of places. It's like, all right, I'll take him and it's a late round pick, and I was holding on to him, and then he comes up one start, bad start, gets hurt. It's like that didn't work out. And it could have worked out though. That's the thing. Sometimes it does. Sometimes those guys do work out, but I don't know. There's a lot of risk in that, obviously.
So what's your best league right now?
I'm in second in NL Tout, but that's NL only, and I just drafted heavy on hitters, so the hitters are carrying me. Pitching again, like I'm waiting on like Jared Jones to come back, and like that's another one. It's like, what if it didn't cost me too much, but just another one that like he could come back from one game and go back on the IL. You never know. Sure. It's been a while.
Or have a setback or something.
Yeah, but like I'm kind of counting on him to just like because like Ohtani and Glasnow are my two big starters in that, and obviously we've seen Glasnow's already down.
And that's like an auction league, right?
Yeah. Okay. So, but I don't know. Well, other ones, it's like in Nerf, my hitting is terrible, my pitching is good. In TGFBI, it's the other way around. My pitching's terrible, hitting is good. So yeah, just gotta make some adjustments there, I guess.
Yeah, I think my leagues are pretty disparate where I'm either like top 3 in the league or bottom 3. I think in the Pitcher List staff league, I'm bottom 3. Same with Barf, I'm bottom 3.
Yeah.
You are. Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't even notice. I should have checked that. That's
no, don't check it. I need you to not check that because
no,
I need to stop
no,
losing too. It's
no. I've been terrible. I've had
losing these
one win.
I keep losing like 4-5. Like all my
Those are
losses are
rough.
4-5. It's like this is why I don't like head to head. This
Those
is
are
annoying.
rough.
Yeah.
I felt like I had sort of a team that didn't have any holes. It felt like a holeless team, but
Oh yeah, I
it's
felt the
it's
same.
it's not been the case. I
Yeah.
drafted crazy starting pitchers, and it's like I don't know how that happens where it doesn't. That's sort of I understand why Nick doesn't lean into getting a bunch of starting pitchers in leagues like that, because you get to the point where it doesn't really matter who you pick, you're gonna miss on some of them. So
Yeah.
like
Oh yeah.
you get more stable batters, but like I had,
I mean, batters are
Crochet.
you can miss some batters too though. That's the
Totally.
yeah.
But I feel like it's less so because I went Crochet, Logan Gilbert, Mizorowski, Joe Ryan, Aaron Nola, Shane Boz. And I think I missed on half of those. I mean, Crochet's not pitched. Logan Gilbert hasn't been an ace. Shane Boz is not on my team anymore. Nola's been terrible. And Joe Ryan's been not at his best.
He's
So
been
it's really,
fine.
he's been fine. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I thought I had, an
Yeah.
insane pitching staff. And here I am being like, wow, okay, Jacob Mizorowski's fun. And now I got Roki Sasaki on my team because that's better than Shane Boz somehow. So it really doesn't always work out best if you're just going into those top starters, because sometimes it just depends on who you're hitting on. But yeah, I guess it can be the same for hitters. I'm doing really well in TGFBI though, and I keep climbing. I think I'm in the top 50 now, and I'm hoping it continues. My team just started getting healthier. My offense is crazy. My pitching is crazy. I actually hit on all the pitchers in that league too. So hoping I can just get enough saves there, but feeling okay about that league, doing well in the home league. And I think those are the two I care about the most. So we'll see how we go moving forward. But here on In the Pen, we talk about relief pitchers, and that's what we're here to do today. We will start things off by talking about the news and notes, the transactions and injuries from the past week. Then we'll head into our 3 up, 3 down section where we talk about the closers rising and falling on Rick's closer ranks. And then we're going to take a look at the zone contact minus OSwing leaderboard, which is a good way to look at pitchers that are really dominant. It's a stat that allows you to tell who's avoiding contact when pitching in the zone and who's getting a lot of swings and misses, or just swings in general out of the zone. And you combine those together and you got somebody who's super dominant where batters can't touch them in the zone. And then they're also chasing. So you have guys like Mason Miller at the top by far. And so when you have that, when you see that, you know that a stat is good if Mason Miller is number 1. But before we get into everything, you're not supposed to check the standings until Memorial Day. And now that we're here, it's time to see where your fantasy team really stands. If you're stuck in the middle of the pack or trying to climb out of an early hole, the moment to make your move is now. From now through Monday, May 25th, you can get 2 free months of PL Pro with an annual subscription when you use code MEMORIAL25 at checkout. That's MEMORIAL25 at checkout. PL Pro is going to give you access to our premium tools on pitcherlist.com. It'll give you access to the Discord community and a first look at the amazing new PL Pro dashboard getting ready to release soon. If you're serious about wanting to make a real push up the standings, now's the time. Head to pitcherlist.com and be a part of our amazing community by using code MEMORIAL25, MEMORIAL25 to get 2 free months of PL Pro yearly. All right, let's hop into the transactions, and we'll start with some IL returnees. And Pete Fairbanks is the first one, as he missed about the minimum time with nerve irritation in his arm. He was activated from the 15-day IL. Josh Eknes, unfortunately, optioned to the minors in a corresponding move. He's one of the high upside young guys in that Marlins bullpen who I think in the future is going to make them have one of the best bullpens in the majors. But for now, he's back in the minors. And so with Fairbanks back, he is the closer for the Marlins.
Yeah, I mean, he slots right back in as the closer. What happens in front of him, no idea still. It's so game to game, day to day with the rest of that bullpen. But at least Fairbanks, and I know he had a blown save in his first game back. That might be the only game he's pitched since returning. But it wasn't I don't want to say it's not his fault, but it wasn't, a little fastball command was a little rusty, but everything looked fine. So I have no worries with him. Just need the bullpen to be able to get him the ball in the 9th, I guess, with the lead. That's like we were talking about, like the Reds having a really good really good stuff in that bullpen. The Marlins have insanely good stuff in that bullpen, but command and just like the consistency there has not been great so far. So Eknes is like one of those guys too, which great stuff, bad command really, and but he'll be back up eventually and hopefully sticks around at some point because really fun arm, Josh Eknes.
Yeah. Feels like it's a good time to buy low on Pete Fairbanks. He's definitely displayed a higher ceiling than in the past couple of years, but maybe a lower floor because the command and the injury history. But 9 ERA is not going to stick around, and he doesn't have much competition for that closer role in Miami. So I think he's a good guy to buy low on. Next, we'll go to the Giants bullpen, and they activated lefty Erik Miller from the 15th-day IL after he missed a couple of weeks with a lower back strain. Tristan Beck was optioned to the minors in a corresponding move, though Miller was a very integral piece of this bullpen before he landed on the injured list, recording a couple saves while Ryan Walker was the closer. Walker's gone now, so Caleb Killian's the closer, and I think Miller should mix in as well. It was interesting to see Matt Gage get the first save when Miller returned. Matt Gage is a fellow lefty in that bullpen, but there's plenty of lefties there. I think Miller is by far the best, though, so he should be the one to get the most vulture save opportunities.
Yeah, I mean he's another guy with he's definitely better stuff than Gage, but there's command inconsistencies. But yeah, he was kind of already in the mix for saves before going down with the injury, and it was a short stint. So I would imagine he slots back in as at least the top lefty for saves. I don't know what I mean. Caleb Killian kind of had a chance to cement that role and like be the closer. I don't think he really took that and ran with it. So I'm sure Miller will be able to get back into the mix as well as others like Gage the other night, and I don't know, maybe Keaton Wynn eventually gets the save. So there's some there's some options in that bullpen still, and I'm sure we won't have a set closer there for a while. It seems like.
I'm still leading Killian. He hasn't gotten many opportunities. He's thrown 9 pitches in the last week, and that save that he missed out on Saturday was a weird one. I'm pretty sure he pitched in a high leverage situation in the 8th inning or something.
He came in to bail out somebody. It might have been Miller.
I think it was.
Yeah, and then that's when Gage came in the 9th. Yeah, so but that's going to happen. I mean, yeah, it's going to be. I don't know. I want to like Killian more. It's just he's also his stuff is inconsistent. It's not even necessarily command. Like it's just kind of frustrating. But there isn't a guy in that bullpen that isn't frustrating. So it's there's some interesting arms, but no one that really sticks out. It's like this guy needs to be the closer. So that's kind of that's the Giants bullpen right now.
From the Giants bullpen to their rivals, the Dodgers signed Jonathan Henandez to a major league contract after he was released by the Phillies. They also recalled Paul Gervais from the minors. Paul Gervais was a guy that we had sort of touched on as maybe having potential when he wasn't he on the Rays before?
Rays, yeah. He's like 6'11", big dude, yeah.
Okay, yeah, 6'10", 230. Nice, yeah. So he's got some potential, but Jonathan Henandez he's more potential than Gervais, but he's never been healthy. I mean, he hasn't pitched more than 43 innings in a season before, but way back in 2020 and 2022, he was pitching to sub-3 ERAs with a decent amount of strikeouts. He recorded 4 saves for the 22 Texas Rangers. There's been potential in the past. I don't believe that he's somebody that we can rely on to enter high leverage situations, but the fact that the Dodgers had interest, signed him to a major league contract immediately sort of suggests there's something there with Jonathan Henandez.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just waiting to see what he looks like. They've gone through so many arms, I feel like lately in that bullpen, which they're starting to finally run out of like quality arms, which is weird because they have a lot of them, but just the injuries are starting to add up as they do with the Dodgers. But yeah, it's been a while since we've seen Henandez. There was a time with the Rangers where he was one of the more exciting setup guys in baseball, so hopefully we'll see what he looks like. I mean the Dodgers love a reclamation project more than anyone, so yeah, we'll see what we get.
Right. I mean, that's sort of the Dodgers' strategy overall with pitching is just get guys that are good and they're going to be sort of underpriced because of their injury history. And
they don't need them. like if you can give us 2 healthy in months, like sure, we'll use you. We'll go on to the next guy. We'll move on. You know, that's kind of that works for them. So I'm
Yeah.
sure that's
So you
what
get
they're.
high upside guys that can pitch for a couple months, and then hopefully you time it up right and they're all ready for the postseason. But right now they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 relievers on the injured list, with 6 of those being on the 60-day IL. So they are not in a good spot right now, but it's the Dodgers. They're still playing well. I don't expect them to miss the playoffs or anything. They are not in first place, though, which is a good sign for parity in the major leagues. Next, we'll go to the Tigers, who activated Will Vest from the 15-day IL after he missed a couple of weeks with forearm inflammation. It's not been the best season for Will Vest, allowing Cal Finnegan to be the top setup man to closer Kenley Jansen. But Vest is back, and he should definitely be in the mix for a decent amount of holds.
Yeah, especially the way Kyle Finnegan has been pitching lately. I mean, that whole bullpen's been kind of struggling, but Finnegan especially is just not. That splitter is not working as well as it did the second half of last year for him. So, Vest was really struggling before he went on the IL. Hopefully, the IL stint helped fix whatever his issues were, and he's back to being the guy he was last year, because they desperately need someone in front of Kenley Jansen right now to help get the ball to him in the ninth. So they're probably going to throw Vest right into the fire as the 7th, 8th inning guy right away.
All right, sticking in the AL Central, the Guardians returned Shawn Armstrong from the 15-day IL after he missed a trio of weeks with a groin strain. Cody Hoyer was optioned to the minors in a corresponding move, and I think he didn't return yet. But Shawn Armstrong was somebody that they were relying on him. He's pretty decent. There's not a lot of great right-handed options in this bullpen outside of Cade Smith, so Shawn Armstrong should be somebody that gets a handful of saves as well. Holds, excuse me.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, he wasn't looking great before the injury, and now you have and Colin Holderman's been great for them. Matt Festas look pretty good as well. So it's between, assuming Gaddis gets back on track, he's pitching better. He's pitched better the last week or so. Velo looks better for him, so I think he's going to be okay. But then you already have Sabrowski, so now you're looking at one spot for holds between Armstrong, Festa, and Holderman. And I don't know, Holderman's been the best one lately. I feel like he deserves a chance, or even Festa. I think Festa's underrated too. So, but yeah, if Armstrong's healthy, just lengthens that bullpen if Armstrong's healthy and can get back to where he was last year.
And now we'll talk about Armstrong's former team, and that's the Rangers, who he pitched for last year. Chris Martin was activated from the 15-day IL by the Rangers. He missed a month with a biceps injury. Gavin Collier was optioned to the minors in a corresponding move, which is surprising given Collier's stuff, and I think he's one of the guys with more potential in that Rangers bullpen, but I guess he's got options, so they can send him down. But Chris Martin has been a high leverage reliever for the Rangers for a couple of years now, so I would be surprised if he doesn't get a decent amount of holds moving forward if he remains healthy.
Yeah, they haven't really. It's still Jacob Junis and Cole Winn as the setup guys there in front of Jacob Latz. So definitely an opening for Collier was kind of right now. Collier's better than Chris Martin right now at this point, but it's just Collier's got options. He's younger. Command was not great the other day, so it's an easy excuse. But we'll see what Martin has left in the tank. I guess that's really, if there's something left, then he should factor into some high leverage work. But I don't know at this point.
And our last IL returnee is Caleb Thielbar, who was activated from the 15-day IL after missing 3 weeks with a hamstring strain. Ty Block was DFA'd in a corresponding move, and Thielbar should return to being the top lefty in that Cubs bullpen. He was pitching pretty well prior to the injury, and there's been a lot of guys underperforming in this bullpen. We'll just put it at that, and I think Thielbar should be definitely in line for some holds.
Yeah, again, behind Palencia, there's really, Maton has struggled. Jacob Webb's been pretty good, but Thielbar being the top lefty easily factors into holds right away. And he was looking great before that hamstring injury. So as long as the hamstring's fine, the arm's fine, he should be a good source for holds. Still an underrated guy too. a lot of people slept on him, especially when he took over the closer role for whatever it was, like 3 days. But he's still someone that didn't get enough attention or should have gotten more attention. Yeah.
I agree. That's Caleb Thielbar returning from the IL. Next, we'll talk about some guys heading to the IL, but first we're going to take a quick break here on In the Pen. And we're back. Jake Crumpler here with Rick Graham on In the Pen discussing relief pitchers. Let's talk about the relievers that were placed on the IL over the past week. We'll start with Drew Pomeranz, who landed on the 15-day IL with elbow inflammation. Not the best news from Pomeranz. He's expected to miss longer than the minimum time. Ryan Jansen, who's more of a swing man, was activated from the 15-day IL after missing more than a month with a hamstring strain and a corresponding move. But with Pomeranz gone, they have just one traditional lefty remaining in that Angels bullpen, and it's Brent Suter. So maybe he'll get some holds opportunities, but Pomeranz was really struggling this year. 7.20 ERA, strikeout to walk was like 5%. So he wasn't really in the saves mix anyway, but with Pomeranz out, I mean, how are you seeing this bullpen shaking out right now? It's definitely one where you can see the potential to capitalize on some saves in the future in fantasy.
Yeah, I mean, there's really only 2 guys there that are worth anything, and it's Zephyr John and Bachman. And I know Zephyr John's kind of the closer right now, but I feel like Bachman, the way he's been pitching the past month, the walk rates come down significantly with him. And I mean, he throws 99. He has a good, pretty good secondary. I feel like, Zephyr John may have a little bit better stuff. Like in general, he throws 3 or 4 pitches that all grade out pretty well. But I mean, Bachman feels like a traditional closer. I don't know. I still feel like it's Zephyr John for now, but Bachman's definitely in the conversation. Those are the only guys that they've been trusting. They haven't had a save chance in forever because they're not a good team, which is another problem. But I mean, yeah, I think between Bachman and Zephyr John, those are the only guys worth even considering on the Angels for now.
Makes sense. Yeah, the Angels are in last place. They're 6.5 games behind the A's, who are surprisingly in first place. And I say surprising because they are under 500. The AL has been really weird this year. I mean, I think the whole league has been very weird. It's been an interesting season of Major League Baseball. Let's talk about another team that's more of a cellar dweller. The Colorado Rockies placed Jimmy Herget on the 15-day IL with a shoulder impingement. Tanner Gordon was recalled from the minors in a corresponding move. He's similar to Ryan Johnson, where he's more of a swing man as well. I think he was the bulk reliever in today's game after Sammy Peralta opened, but Jimmy Herget gone, and he was actually somebody that they were trusting a bit in high leverage situations. He had a save and 3 holds, but he wasn't somebody to consider for fantasy purposes. But with him out of the way, there's some interesting names sort of emerging out of this Rockies bullpen. And we've talked enough about Antonio Senzatella, and we got all the rumors now that he's like going to be one of the biggest guys at the trade deadline, which
good for the Rockies, man.
Makes sense. But I don't know. I mean, who are you liking in this Rockies bullpen right now? We saw Juan Mejia get a save last night. Jaden Hill has been pitching well, but with Herget out of the way, who's drawing your attention?
It seems like they at least have like a trio of guys that they trust at this point with Hill, Mejia, and Senzatella. Hill's been great the last week. The stuff is obviously there. I'm a little bit more skeptical on him than Mejia and Senzatella. And then those I think you might see Mejia, Senzatella co-manage, co-close for the time being. And then which one you prefer? I guess if you want a higher floor option, you go with Senzatella. If you want to go for the higher, ceiling, you go with Mejia, because we've seen Mejia, and even still this past month he's been awesome, but the walk rate's still high. I mean, he's still going to be a little volatile with his command. But the stuff's a lot better. I mean, the swing and miss is a lot better with Mejia. It's not even close between him and Senzatella, but Senzatella's just been getting outs, and I mean, there's not a lot to complain. Even when he does have like bad outings, they're not meltdowns, they're not blow ups like some of these other Rockies guys. So they have at least they can build on those 2 guys for now, and then flip Senzatella for something at the deadline, and that's good for them for getting something out of that, because I thought that contract was just gonna fizzle out and we get nothing. But if they can get a nice prospect, that's awesome. So
it's the Moneyball Rockies, man.
Yeah, right. I mean, maybe Mejia's on. Maybe they would be okay, you know, because they moved Mears a couple years ago when he had some term
Chevy
left.
over the offseason,
Yeah, Shavili, Bird, Jake Bird had term last
right?
year.
Mhm.
They moved on from him. So yeah, they and that was a good. Yeah, that Bird move was a pretty good one. I mean, looking what he turned out to be. So yeah,
Mhm.
that whole bullpen could probably be available. Maybe someone would bite on like a Vodnik, even though he's been terrible, but like get him
Yeah.
out of Colorado. Who knows?
I mean,
So
that's the whole thing. It's like
yeah,
you could sort of sell anybody on everybody. Like, no, 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 no. This is just because they're pitching for
they
us.
all throw 102. I mean,
Right.
like it's like take
It's
him
a
out
good
of Colorado. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good strategy. They should do like the Reds and like Marlin strategy of just get all the high stuff guys, have them sort of underperform and just blame it on being the Rockies or
It's
being in
just
Coors.
don't worry about
Yeah.
the command is because they're in Colorado. It's
Right,
yeah.
exactly. Yeah, and you could
Yeah.
sort of just start pulling stuff over on guys and just
Yeah.
getting a ton of prospects. That would be an interesting strategy, but I guess it's been working for them recently.
The that is like, I mean, a quick way to rebuild. I feel, or you know, I mean, not a quick way, but like a cheap concert, like you know, way to rebuild in baseball. I feel like it's to just find relievers for like cheap, and then just get like 3 good months out of them, and then flip them. And teams are willing to, you know, give you a good prospect for a lot of these guys. So that's, you know,
Right.
that's my whole philosophy for that's what the Rockies should be doing. Yeah, just
All right,
flip
Rick for
relievers.
GM.
Yeah,
Next we
I'll take
have
the job.
okay, we'll sign you up. Next, we've got Matt Strahm, who was placed on the 15-day IL with knee inflammation. Bailey Falter was activated from the 15-day IL after missing a month and a half with elbow inflammation and a corresponding move. But with Strahm out of the way, Daniel Lynch continues to climb up the Royals bullpen ladder. I'm still crossing my fingers that he will one day get a chance to close
Yeah.
full-time for this team because he's just far and away the best reliever in this bullpen. Lucas Erceg is just not doing anything to get you excited, just walking everybody, striking nobody out, and still getting the job done. But I think
Yeah.
someday the day's going to come where Lynch is going to be the closer for the Royals, or he should be.
Yeah, if this continues the way it is, yeah, I mean, even I'm like Ursig even looks a little bit. I compared him to like Carlos Estevez last year, but even he looks even a little bit worse than Estevez did last year on some of the peripheral numbers. So yeah, it's and Lynch is kind of coming back to earth, but he's still better than, you know, Ursig or anything else they have. You know, I like Steven Cruz, but that's just a deeper option. But like everyone else, and like Mears hasn't been good, Lang hasn't been good, Schreiber's not great. I don't know the barely. I mean, it's just a lot of low upside options in that bullpen. So yeah, it's really, you know, Lynch or bust. I feel like if you're in any sort of league in this Royals bullpen,
Right. All right. The Blue Jays had some poor injury luck this past week, but luckily it was just some minor pieces. Tommy Nance hit the 15-day IL with forearm discomfort, and Joe Mantiply hit the 15-day IL with knee inflammation. That's all-star Joe Mantiply to you. Real in the pen fans will remember that one. In corresponding moves, Adam Macko and Chase Lee were recalled from the minors, but I don't think there's really any fantasy implications of these IL placements.
No, I mean, Nance was pitching really well lately. He does have, like, it's just kind of a random guy in that bullpen that has really good breaking stuff, and no one really knows about. But yeah, I mean, that could be a potential loss for them, just the bullpen depth that he brings. Macko is kind of interesting as a lefty who transitioned to the bullpen, I think, late second half of last year. Does some good stuff, but you know, probably between him and Mantiply, he might be better than Mantiply. Mantiply's got, you know, a little bit better command, veteran edge to him, but it's not a huge loss losing Mantiply. And even with Nance, they should be fine. I mean, at some point, Jimmy Garcia is going to return, I think. And they still have, you know, Varland, and Jeff Hoffman's not going to be this bad forever. It's just not possible. So
I hope not.
he still has a 500 BABIP at this time, which is like, I went back years and no one has had a BABIP that high at this point in the year.
That's crazy.
He's
not even walking
wild.
anybody. It's really, it's really unfair. And then
It's
everything's a home run.
It's the half the batted balls are home runs, or they're.
Yeah.
I mean, he does leave a lot of stuff over the middle. A lot of hittable pitches from him. That's an issue, but it's still
He
there's too
doesn't
much swing
he
and
doesn't
miss in
have the
there.
Z he doesn't have the Z contact minus O swing
It's
that
because
you need to survive.
I mean he's like, well, he's kind of up there on that. He's getting the O swing. I think the Z contact is probably the issue because he's getting hit around in the zone.
Mm-hmm. Not great. Not great. Yeah. 37% home run to fly ball ratio, 500 BABIP. It's just every single fly ball is a home run. That's the same home run to fly ball ratio he had over a full season last year. You really didn't think it could just be just as bad, but it's somehow worse because he's allowing so many hits on balls in play. But his xFIP is 2.01 with a 5.75 ERA. That's
The
not
laws of baseball or whatever, nature, it's just not.
Yeah.
It's not sustainable what's happening. When that BABIP does come down to normal, that's going to mean, just like the ebb and flow. He's going to be fine, but I don't know what that means for his role or what he's going to be doing.
Right.
We'll see.
If there was anybody else that took over that close role, I might have some hope that he
Right,
could
I
back.
know.
But
It was
you got
Lucas
like the best
Erceg.
reliever in baseball outside of Mason Miller, maybe best reliever in the AL, we could say. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. And then lastly, Cole Sulser was placed on the 15-day IL with a lower back strain. Chase Solsky was recalled from the minors in a corresponding move. Not like a notable name. I remember when Cole Sulser was pitching for the Orioles, but he's actually been relied upon in high leverage by the Rays, which is surprising. He has 2 saves and 4 holds, but he's not like an dominant reliever or anything. But I think that should sort of clear things up a little bit in those late innings because we have it's sort of like a setup man committee or rather than a closer committee where it's Brian Baker's the closer, but then everybody else is sort of mixing and matching in the 7th, 8th, and 9th when Baker's not in there.
Yeah, and Sulser was one of those guys, the heavy changeup usage guy, for them. But yeah, I mean, he shouldn't be a huge loss, but they are kind of getting thin there behind Baker and Baker, Clevenger, and Kelly right now, and I guess you can throw Seymour in there. Those are the 4 guys you can trust. But outside of that, it's Sulser was in that group, and now. Hunter Piggy has looked okay, and then he gives up 9 runs in an extra inning outing, and it's like, oh, well, I guess we're back to the drawing board there.
Why leave a reliever in for that?
I know, especially in extras. That happened. It wasn't even just Biggie. There was someone else who had this. Someone last night, I think.
Because it was that Mets game.
The Mets game,
yeah. It was on the Nationals. They let Paxton Schultz
he was pitching the 3rd day in a row too. That was his third day in a row, and they just let him out there. That's so brutal. And they had other guys who could pitch. I don't understand what that was about.
You got to hope you have a good agent and you make it to arbitration, because if you're in that arbitration hearing and they're just like, this guy has a 5 ERA, it's like, because you pitched me 3 days in a row and put me in there to allow 7 runs in extra innings. Yeah,
I mean, they had Richard Lovelady was available, but apparently they were saving him to get a save today because they used Lovelady in a strict save situation tonight. Which, like, what that Nash Butera is driving me nuts because that's I don't know.
I mean, that bullpen is terrible to begin with, so he's doing what he can.
I mean, we're like Gus Farland's not that bad. Come on, man. But anyway, what were we back to Cole Sulser. Yeah, I mean, the Rays, we have no idea when you said is going to return. There's been no updates on that. So yeah, they got to hope that the back strain is not too serious for Sulser, because they could use that extra right-handed arm in their bullpen.
I think they'll be fine. They have the best record in the American League somehow.
They find ways, yeah.
They do. They always do. All right, and our only bit of news, we got our weekly Josh Hader update, who's out with a biceps injury. He's going to pitch at least 5 more rehab appearances before being activated. He's eligible this upcoming Sunday, but he won't be activated when first eligible. So we're looking at probably mid-June, maybe early June at the earliest for Josh Hader, but he's working his way back. Let's fingers crossed it goes well and smoothly, but he's not going to be ready when first eligible, which is a little bit disappointing, like you were talking about at the top of the show.
He's looked pretty good too. I mean, 5 more appearances, I guess. I don't know. I will be careful. But Yeah, it's a little frustrating because it did seem like he was tracking to be. It's just the Astros. You can't trust them whenever it comes to injury news. They'll probably say he needs 5 more appearances after these 5 appearances, and
Right.
I it just keeps getting pushed back with him. So at least we've seen like him pitch pretty well in the minors and these rehab appearances. So I think he's trending in the right direction, and 5 more appearances, yeah, probably brings us to early mid-June at the earliest.
All right. Well, that will wrap up our news and notes from the past week. Now we can get into the 3 up, 3 down section where we talk about the closers rising and falling on Rick's weekly closer ranks, which you can find over at pitcherlist.com. Let's start with the risers, beginning with Kenley Jansen, who has maintained his hold of the Tigers closer role, and his hold just gets tighter as the competition gets lighter. Look at that.
Yeah. I know. That's good. Yeah, I mean, Finnegan was starting to look better, and it's kind of, like I feel like Jansen and Finnegan have they got close to be like Finnegan maybe taking over, and then they went the other way, and Jansen's looked great the last 4 outings. Jansen's been awesome. Seems like that groin injury is behind him. No issues there. So yeah, like there's nothing to be concerned about with Jansen. It seems like he's healthy. And yeah, Finnegan's not a threat anymore. Maybe Vest will work into that picture, but we'll see. I'm not totally writing off Finnegan, but this start has been he's got like a negative 3.8% K- walk rate, I think. So yeah, that's not what you want to see from a potential closer in waiting.
Our next riser is Trevor Megill, who has been in a competition with Abner Uribe all year. And I mean, it's crazy that this was probably, you could say at the beginning of the year, the best bullpen duo. And now we're at the point where both of these guys have ERAs well above 4.5. And Uribe sort of took that role from Megill. Megill sort of opened the year as the closer. There was a bit of uncertainty there, but Uribe took the role from Megill as he struggled. But now it's gone the other way. Uribe started to struggle and Megill started to get more save opportunities. Right now, Abner Uribe is pitching the 9th against the Cubs with a 3-run lead.
Megill pitched
Trevor Megill,
7th.
he's mixing in.
Why did Megill pitch the 7th? He pitched the 7th or the 6th.
Yeah,
I don't even. Yeah, I mean,
it was the 7th. Yeah.
Because Megill has been a lot better this past month. I'm like, all right, like, and he got a save over Uribe the other night. So I'm like, yeah, this makes a ton of sense. Megill the past month has an ERA of 2, a 0.78 WHIP, and a 32.4% K rate, while Uribe has a 5.4 ERA, 1.2 WHIP, and a 25% K rate. It's the trend was clearly going towards Megill, but I don't know. I guess we're not ready to commit to that yet. If Pat Murphy isn't, at least. So I still think Megill is trending the right way. Obviously, the numbers have been great, and tonight he pitched well too. He had a clean inning, 2 strikeouts. So I guess we'll see how Uribe finishes this game, but either way, I still like what Megill's doing, and at least it means he's potentially going to be mixing in. So there's some hope for anyone who's still holding on to Megill.
Yep. Looks like Uribe struck out the first batter he faced in a full count. Swanson tried to challenge it. He tapped his helmet, but it was still a strike. So he's moving forward. But yeah, I think it's definitely valid to say Megill's a riser. Maybe he's not the clear-cut closer, but the fact that he's mixing in and pitching better and Uribe hasn't been as dominant, especially not even close to where he was at last year, I think is definitely valid to say Megill's a riser. Our last riser is Rico Garcia, who's been one of the most dominant relievers in baseball this year. 0.45 ERA, 35% strikeout rate, and he's been the closer with Ryan Helsley out. Helsley's taken his time working back from that injury, so Garcia continues to get opportunities.
I think that's the thing. If like the updates have been, I want to say ominous with Helsley, but like he's still not been cleared to throw yet. It's been a while. I don't know. So that makes me more interested in Garcia. The weird thing, like I still feel like, and somehow Garcia is both underrated and overrated at this point. He's got he's only allowed 2 hits this year. He has a BABIP of like 0.036. It's like something that's, again, like he and Hoffman are going to, I don't want to say they're going to switch, but like Garcia is going to start, those ratios are going to inflate. eventually. But I still think even as that does go up, as that BABIP does rise with Garcia, the stuff's still really good. Strike throwing percentage, the ability is really good. So I don't think he's gonna like have a terrible, regression here. I still think he can be really good. And we started the year that Orioles bullpen looked a lot better than it does now. I mean, Nunez has struggled lately. Kittredge has been terrible. The lefties have not been good. So yeah, I feel like Garcia's pretty comfortable in that closer role for now. And then who knows with Helsley? It's still until he's thrown off a mound, until he's on a rehab assignment. It's tough to tell when Helsley's going to be back.
Right. I don't think you stressed that BABIP on Rico Garcia enough. 0.28 on the BABIP. I've never seen it that low in any.
He and Hoffman
size.
are like it. Yeah, they're having such a weird.
2 hits this year. He's allowed 1 hit on the ball.
One was a home run.
Yeah. One was a home run, which accounts for the only run he's allowed.
And
then he's just allowed
his second hit was last night. Yeah. So
that's crazy. That is insane. I've never seen that before. 100% left on base rate too, because the only run is on the home run. Those are crazy numbers. I mean, he's been like a weak contact machine. He's getting a ton of swing and miss. He walks a lot of guys, which will keep your BABIP down too, especially if you're a fly ball guy. But he's more of a ground ball guy. 54% ground ball rate. That BABIP is gonna shoot up, and you can see the xFIP is higher than Hoffman. So you're right to say those guys are gonna flip flop. I don't think Rico Garcia is gonna be bad though, but that is some crazy luck he's been getting. As those guys rise up the closer ranks, others need to fall to accommodate them. So our first faller is David Bednar, who has not been peak David Bednar this year. 5.14 ERA. His last 2 appearances have been struggles. He pitched on back-to-back days, and Camilo Doval got the save today, which I think is good news for Doval, but it probably would have been Fernando Cruz if he also wasn't unavailable. So if Bednar keeps struggling, I mean, who do you think would take over for him, and why do you have David Bednar specifically falling down the list?
I mean, the last 2 outings for Bednar should have been, the last 2 outings were bad. They could have been even worse if George Springer bailed out Bednar last night with, I still can't believe it's one of the worst at bats I've seen. Like, for a veteran guy to be, in the situation, there's 1 out, there's runners on first and second, you're down a run, and it's a 3-0 count, and Springer swings at a blatant ball, 3-0. It's like, and then he does it two more times. It's like,
Dang.
So he got Bednar got bailed out. I've never seen his command as bad as it was last night. The issue with him, I think and this is something we've always been talking about Bednar, and I think last year the fix is that he needs to be able to throw his curveball over for strikes to get that pitch over the plate. And now that's what he's doing, and hitters are adjusted back to, they've been hammering his curveball. His curveball's been, it's not a great curveball. It's pretty much, it's really his strike throwing pitch. He just tries to get it over the plate, but hitters are starting to jump on that. So now we need to go back to the drawing board if you're David Bednar, and find a way to, the strike rate or the zone rate on his fastball has been down this year. He's going to have to start throwing more strikes with the fastball. I know the velo's down. I think maybe he's afraid to throw it over the plate as much. He's just trying to get hitters to chase more so with it. But something needs to change with Bednar. But the good news is Doval had a really, really shaky save tonight, and he's been shaky all year. And even Fernando Cruz, he's got a huge strikeout numbers, great stuff, but it's the command and the walk rate with him makes it really hard to trust him as a closer. I don't know if he'll ever be considered a closer because of that walk rate, and the fact that he's throwing 70% splitters, and there's going to be just a lot of free base runners on base with him. So I don't.
Let's start a Brent Hedrick bandwagon.
Honestly, and it's not even that exciting or that great, but that might be the best answer. You have Tim Hill as your other lefty, so you could potentially mix and match Hedrick in there. Because Duvall should be the guy, but it's just really been shaky from him this year. And he had a chance tonight, and he held on, got the save, but it was not pretty exactly.
All right. Our next faller is Seranthony Dominguez, who maintains the closer role for the White Sox, but he hasn't inspired a lot of confidence. It's a 4.82 ERA on the year. He's walking a lot of guys, 13%. It's sort of been a theme of his career, but he's still doing it. He's still getting saves, but he's definitely in the bottom half of closers. I think the only reason you can have a little bit of confidence in him is that there's very little competition, and Grant Taylor should be the closer there, but the White Sox are just not going to do that.
Yeah, and even the lefties there and Newcomb and Hudson are kind of they're trending the right way. They're gaining ground. I don't know. This is the thing. Like Seranthony Dominguez's last couple outings were bad on paper, but I actually think he looked a little bit better, and I'm not totally out on him yet. And like you said, it's the competition there. If they're not going to move Grant Taylor into the closer role, then it really limits you to those two lefties who are fine. I like Hudson and Newcomb, but neither one's really a closer. So I think Dominguez still has a little bit of leeway in that closer role. But yeah, he can't have the results he's been having. He needs to figure something out in the next week or so, or else they probably will have to make a change. But yeah, I would get excited about Grant Taylor, but it just doesn't seem like they want to make that move yet, at least.
Mm-hmm. Yep. All right. Our last faller is Graham Aschcraft, who has struggled. He got the opportunity to take over this close role in Cincinnati with Emilio Pagan hitting the IL and Tony Santillan struggling. But his last couple of appearances, I think he's allowed 6 runs. They did try to stretch him for 2 innings last night, and I think that was sort of unfair to him because he pitched a clean 8th, and then they pushed him into the 9th, and that didn't really work out. But there's really nobody that's taken over this closer role. There's been plenty of opportunity, and really nobody's done it. And it's hard to say, okay, well, go get Tony Santillan because he recorded a save today, because he hasn't been too great either. So why do you have Aschcraft dropping, and who are you targeting, if anybody, in the Reds bullpen?
Even when Pagan went down, it was still like it's like, all right, he's going to be out for 8 weeks, and like someone could take that role, but no one there was exciting at the time, and it's gotten worse somehow over the past 2 weeks or whatever it's been since Pagan's been out. I mean, since Pagan went down, Santillan had an ERA going into tonight of 23.14 and a whip of 3, and I mean, it's just been bad. Aschcraft wasn't much better, and that's the thing. I think that's what's frustrating, is that I thought, like, all right, this is Aschcraft's chance. Like, the stuff is there.
Right.
He's finally going to get an opportunity, and he just completely has laid an egg in these past 2 weeks, and it's he'll probably turn things around and pitch great, but I don't know if he's ever going to get a chance to close again, which is just frustrating because he could be that guy for them. Even at the command, it's just like the command just randomly, like every now and then goes, and the velocity is like 96 one day, 98.5 the next. It's so weird with him.
Inconsistent mechanics, probably.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't know. It's Santillan tonight. It's interesting. He only threw 1 slider. I think that's
that doesn't feel sustainable.
It doesn't, because but like, so the first, I don't know, he's allowed like 9 home runs this year. It's like the first 4 were on fastballs, and then the last 4 were on sliders. It's I think he's afraid to throw that slider. But yeah, it's not sustainable. This was a good outing tonight. I don't know. We'll take a chance if you want, but
did he throw curveballs?
Or it depends on where. Some places call it a slider, some places call it a slur, some places call it a curve. Whatever it is, he was breaking. Yeah, he threw 1. So yeah, I think he's kind of afraid. He faced, I think, 2 righties, so I don't know. We'll see what he does from here. But I mean, Pierce Johnson's not the answer. I as much as I would love this much, Brock Burke maybe. He too. It's like if he was dominant for a little stretch this year, but not in the stretch where it needs, like, not this current stretch where he could have had a chance. TJ Anton's not the answer either, as much as that would be a cool story. It's just like he doesn't have a fastball anymore. It's just like 3 breaking balls that you hope for the best. So yeah, the bullpen's frustrating. I think I'm just staying away from it for now. And there should be, unless you're in a really deep league, you should have other options. Go and take a chance on Sam Bachman over one of these guys if you have
Totally.
to.
Yep. I'm going to do that as well. All right. That wraps up our 3 up, 3 down section. To recap, our risers were Kenley, Jansen, Trevor, Megill, and Rico Garcia. And our fallers were David, Bednar, Seranthony, Dominguez, and Graham Aschcraft. Next, we're going to head and talk about the zone contact minus OSwing leaderboard. But first, we're going to take another break here on In the Pen. And we're back. Jake Crumpler here with Rick Graham on In the Pen discussing relief pitchers. Let's talk about some zone contact minus OSwing leaders. To reiterate what this stat is tracking, we're looking at guys that don't allow a lot of contact in the zone, meaning they can live in the zone without fear. And then they also get a lot of chases. They get a lot of swings outside of the zone. So you got guys that can live in the zone without fear and then also get batters to chase their pitches. And if that sounds a lot like Mason Miller to you, who just pumps 100 miles per hour in the zone, nobody can touch it, and then he gets them to chase their slider, that's exactly right, as he leads baseball in this category. This is a stat where you want to have a lower percentage. And because we're looking at Z contact minus OSwing, and Mason Miller leads baseball at 18%, and that's 12% above the next guy. And if you're looking at 12% differences, that's like the difference between Tanner Scott at number 2 and that's so far like Jimmy Herget probably 20 spots down. So it's certainly significant how good Mason Miller is in this category. But let's look at some other guys. Obviously, just mentioned Tanner Scott, who's number 2 in this category. And I don't think this is one where this is not usually a stat that I think thrives in, because he doesn't throw enough pitches in the zone usually.
Yeah. And it's changed this year. I mean, that 3% walk rate. Yeah, and that's always been the thing with him. It's been the frustrating thing with Tanner Scott. It's like, just your stuff is nasty, man. Just throw it, aim middle and see where it goes. Like, if you really don't have that, like, a great, command over it, just aim middle and see where it ends up. And yeah, I mean, the walk rate being down has been a significant change for him. And yeah, I bet you a lot of that the zone contact's probably down more so than the O swing. But he's getting swings and misses still. I mean, still, 28% K rate almost. So there's, a lot to like with what Tanner Scott's doing this year. And I know I want to say it's sustainable. I don't see why not, but you never know with these guys sometimes, especially Tanner Scott. We've seen great periods from him and we've seen terrible periods, but right now you just let it ride and hope it continues. Yeah.
All right. Next on the list is Bryan Baker at 33%. He's somebody who's been just going 2-pitch pretty much with 4-seamers and changeups, but those pitches are thriving in the zone, and batters are also willing to chase that changeup out of the zone. And it's been working really well for Bryan Baker. And this stat really showcases his dominance, where nobody can touch him in the zone, and they're also fooled so badly by his pitches that they're willing to chase out of it.
Yeah. And then I think we've talked about it with Baker a little bit. Like, we want to see the slider more. And I think that's over the last period of a week or so. I feel like hitters are starting to adjust to him throwing all these changeups. And he's also left a couple changeups up, and it's burned him a little bit. So yeah, I want to see him get back to the slider. And I think that, again, there might be even another level there where, the slider gets more incorporated and he starts getting swings and misses on that. So yeah, because again, it's a great pitch. It's not just the fastball and changeup with him. But yeah, it's good to see. It's good to see him, getting this kind of dominance with his fastball and changeup, just pretty much those 2 pitches only. And hopefully it can, take another level with the slider incorporated.
All right, that's Bryan Baker. Next, we have our first surprise guy at number 4 on the list, Jacob Webb, with a 33.8% Z contact minus OSwing percentage. And that's surprising if you don't know how well he's pitching recently. He's been very good for the Cubs. He's moved up that bullpen ladder. He's probably the top right-handed setup man in that bullpen now, after surpassing Phil Maton, who's really struggled this year. We've talked about Jacob Webb in the past. There has been times where he seemed like a potential high leverage arm back with the Rangers, but this year he looks more dominant than ever.
Yeah, and I just kind of realized this earlier today that like Webb's having this like crazy run this past month. I don't know what it is that's been different with him. I know the one game he closed out, like the velo up was a big uptick in velo from him, and maybe that's stuck, and that's really what's carrying him. But yeah, it's a surprise nonetheless. He's always been kind of intriguing. That's why we were both kind of stunned when the Rangers just didn't offer him. He was only due like 1.75 million this year. And that Rangers bullpen probably could use Jacob Webb right now. I mean, I don't know. It seems like they could use him at that price point. So it's it's good find by the Cubs, giving him a chance. And yeah, he's always had some. He's kind of been Baker light. Him and Baker were at one point similar. I feel like Webb's like Baker light, kind of where there's three pitches. They're both not drive line guys, but they go to they're always tinkering, going to trying to get better. So yeah, Baker's Webb's an interesting name to keep an eye on with the Cubs, especially with how Phil Maton's been struggling.
Yeah, I was thinking Webb, or I was thinking comparing Webb to Baker as well in my mind while you were talking, just with the four seam fastball and the changeup reliance there, and not really focusing on his breakers. It's working really well. That changeup has been absolutely dominant this year, nearly 30% swinging strike rate on the pitch. Next, we've got a curious one. I mean, not because of results, but Raisel Iglesias is number 5 on this list, 33.9% Z contact minus OSwing. It's crazy how well he's pitched this year. It also feels unsustainable. He's throwing some of his pitches less. I think it's the breakers. I have to pull it
the
up.
Slider.
Yep.
He's starting to mix it in a little bit more, but it's still not. I don't think he trusts it yet. Yeah.
But he's just sort of living in the zone with his four seamers and then getting batters to chase his changeup. And I guess that's fine. I mean, Iglesias isn't the most overwhelming fastball pitcher, but he has been this year, still a 0 ERA on the year for Raisel Iglesias.
Yeah. And that's the thing, is like when you get to I don't know, the stuff's just not as, it doesn't make sense that he's having this type of success because the fastball's not that great and he's just throwing it over the middle of the plate. But here we are. So it's just gotta keep rolling with it. The changeup is good. The changeup's always been pretty good. It's not like an elite change. It's not Devin Williams changeup or even Bradgley Rodriguez, the other guy that's not coming up here. But it's a solid changeup, and I guess the fastball's not terrible. So it's working for now. I don't see a path for sustainability unless he does like start bringing that slider back in and just like tries to outthink hitters. And like hitters were sitting on a slider early last year, he stopped throwing it. Now hitters are going to start adjusting to the fastball. Maybe he brings the slider back. It's just all a mind game, I guess, with especially when you don't have dominating stuff like Iglesias.
You mentioned the next two guys on the list, Devin Williams and Bradgley Rodriguez. I think both of these guys are underperforming in different ways. It's hard to say that about Bradgley Rodriguez when he has a sub 2 ERA, but just a 20.5% strikeout rate from Rodriguez, and that comes with a 16.5% swinging strike rate, which suggests he should be a 30% guy. So to see him up on this leaderboard, he's dominating in the zone with a pair of fastballs and then getting a lot of chases out of the zone on his changeup. It's the same strategy that Devin Williams comes with four seamers and changeups, and it works. And I think we're seeing a bit of a trend here after the first couple four seam fastball slider guys. We've had all four seam fastball changeup guys afterwards.
Yeah, I mean, it's the year of the changeup. After the next couple guys don't have changeups really, but yeah, I mean Devin Williams, and even you take away that the first couple weeks where he was trying to find his changeup, didn't it took him a while, and even his changeup's still different this year than it's ever been. It's he's throwing it a little bit. I think the lower arm angle's leading some more arm side run on it, but it's working. He's adjusted. He's throwing. He's getting swing and miss on it every night now. So I like where Williams is trending, and Bradgley has a fastball that Devin Williams doesn't have. That's the difference here. So that strikeout rate should 20% for him doesn't even make sense with how good his stuff is. So I guess the good news is that the 6% walk rate's a nice sign for him, but I feel like he could probably get a little bit, nibble a little bit more there and get some more, swing and miss and strikeout, up that strikeout rate.
Yeah, it's got to be a put away rate problem where he's not able to put guys away late in counts. And I wonder with which pitch is the problem. Changeups 21% put away rate. That's not good.
The sinker and fastball are 12 or four seamer 12.5%.
Yeah. And that's a way to sort of see luck when it comes to that, because generally you're going to see like a 20% rate is pretty average there. And it makes sense with the sinker. I get. Yeah. What was he at last year?
The changeup last year. The changeup last year was 36.4.
Yeah, 94th percentile.
And the same whiff rate. So it's like
so that's something that could just turn around with better luck, where it's has nothing to do with necessarily his locations or the usage or the effectiveness of the pitch, but just batters being able to predict it or foul it off or whatever. So I think he should have more success putting batters away with that four seamer in the future. The sinker he doesn't really throw in 2 strikes, so makes sense for that one to not be up there. Next on the list we have Dylan Lee, and that's one of our favorite guys. 35.1% Z contact minus OSwing for Dylan Lee, and he's been very great this year. It just continues a trend of being great for year over year, but it's crazy how he's just saying, I'm just going to throw everything in the zone. Sub 3% walk rate is crazy and makes sense. And when you have a stat like this, right. Yeah. When you have a stat like this that says, hey, nobody can touch him in the zone and they're willing to chase his pitches, then just throw everything in there. And then if you miss, they're going to swing.
The slider's always been good and that fastball has gotten better. It's just like, especially from the left side, it's like if you throw 90 to 93 with like really good vert on your fastball, like that's a great fastball, especially like that. That's just what's been where, Alex Vesia, Dylan Lee, there's a bunch of them. And Lee able to use that slider as a secondary. It's just a really good mix from him. And the strike, the walk rate at 2.7%. It's just, like we saw, it's like Tanner Scott kind of, just here's my 2 best pitches. I'm going to just throw them over the plate and see if you pick the right one. And, that's kind of how it is. So love what Lee's been doing this. Across the board, there's really no one else who matches up to him. It's just really him and Mason Miller from a lot of these metrics. So, no complaints with Leo. The thing that keeps I put him high. I've had him as the number 1 holds guy for a while, and it's like he's not getting holds. People complain about that, but it's not like his role. He's the 7th. He's gonna get holds in that bullpen. His role is where it's gonna be
7 holds. What are people complaining about?
And they want whatever Sabrowski has, 18 or whatever. It's I know it's
16. Oh my gosh, I did not notice that. That's crazy.
Because how the Guardians love to abuse their relievers,
right?
But
that's wild.
Lee will get there. Lee will be a 20+ holds guy easily.
Oh yeah,
great other numbers as well. So just super safe and excited with that upside that Lee brings.
Yeah, 7 has got to have him at least in the top 10 in the National League. I don't know how much better you could want. And there's a few guys with 8 and 9
too.
Yeah, Jojo Romero has 14 holds. Yeah, I understand that, but you got to factor in the ratios and the strikeouts, which Dylan Lee
5 categories.
Yeah. That's right. There are. Next, we've got David Bednar, who's a follower on the list, but he's somehow finding or avoiding contact in the zone and getting guys to chase his pitches. I think there's definitely something to say about his batted ball luck and his ability to strand runners, and he's not having the best command. And that being said, he's still dominant when he is pitching well.
Yeah, this is the promising sign from what's going on with him. The splitter is really good. The splitter, in fact, I almost feel like he just needs to he loves throwing all 3 of them about the same amount, and I get that, but I feel like you might have to just bring down that curveball a little bit, and that's the strike getting pitched. So it's such a weird arsenal, and I feel like that's where you get, a lot of the zone contacts probably low because he's just a lot of the time throwing that curveball for strikes, and hitters aren't exactly expecting it. Or he's getting whiffs. He gets whiffs outside the zone with his fastball all the time and the splitter. So it's very interesting arsenal and pitch mix that he incorporates, with that curveball being the strike getter and the fastball being the swing and miss getter. But yeah, I don't know if things need to change or not. But I mean, yeah, he's at least missing bats. There has been some bad ball luck as well, and yeah, I don't know. He might be able to right the ship, and for the Yankees' sake, you gotta hope he does, because yeah, I don't know what's behind him is not exactly enticing.
Number 10 on the list is Jack Perkins, and I think this makes sense why the A's have sort of trusted him in so many high leverage situations. He's pitched really well throughout the season. There's definitely been some inconsistencies, which I would hazard a guess we can blame on his 383 BABIP and 59% left on base rate. But Perkins is definitely dominant. He throws his fastball in the zone, nobody touches it, and then he throws sweepers and changeups out of it to keep batters at bay.
Yeah, I mean, that's this, there's no doubt about his stuff, Perkins stuff. And I think the command, the walk rate's not that bad, but the last couple of weeks, the command has been shaky at best. So I think, he just needs to trust his stuff right now, attack hitters, and hopefully the A's haven't given up on him as a closer. I still think that's the best path forward for that team. Hogan Harris is not that. Talk about command volatility. That's, and Sterner's just been inconsistent in general. So still feel like Perkins is the best answer for the A's, and it does have a pretty good, stuff and ability to miss bats here. So he makes sense as their closer.
All right. Well, that's the top 10. I'm going to pick out a couple names to run through here in the top 20. We talked about Rico Garcia earlier in the podcast. Really lucky this year, but obviously he deserves some of the success he's had as he's living in the zone with his fastballs and getting his breakers out of it to find success.
Change up too. Yeah. Another change-up guy.
Yeah. And then Jeff Hoffman, who we linked with Rico Garcia on the other side, seeing them back-to-back is very interesting. Both of these guys seem to be very similar, just on the other side, opposite sides of the same spectrum. So Jeff Hoffman, definitely somebody who can be dominant. He's just been very unlucky on batted balls. Ryan Helsley, always good with that four-seamer. He's very dominant in the zone, but he's injured right now. I think Jonathan Bolin is a good one to stop on. Yeah. I mean, he was somebody that the Phillies acquired from the Royals via trade over the offseason. He was sort of a failed starter, so to see him finding success in the bullpen definitely makes sense. He's throwing nearly 2 miles per hour harder. He's leaning on his changeup and sweeper, which he didn't throw a sweeper before, and the changeup he barely threw before. So it's cool to see Bolin look so dominant.
He probably is a better rotation option than Aaron Nola at this point.
Okay.
Don't you think? I mean, Aaron Nola. I mean, I don't know. You've been looking at starters more than me, but I feel like Aaron Nola is just. I don't know what's going on there, but it's not good.
Fastball's terrible.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of always been, but I guess it's just starting to really, limit his options. So I mean, but yeah, I feel like Bolin's got the pitch mix. He's got 5 pitches that are pretty good. I don't know. Something that Phillies might want to consider, I guess.
Yeah. Next is Andres Munoz. That one makes a lot of sense to me because he's like the epitome of I'm going to rely on my slider and just throw it as much as possible and then sort of sneak fastballs in the zone. And that makes sense because batters just aren't making contact when they swing at his fastballs in the zone. It's very surprising. He throws 100 miles per hour and then he's just throwing his slider out of the zone and they're not able to touch it. It's a great pitch. And that's one reason why Andres Munoz is so dominant.
Yeah. I mean, the slider. And again, he's, who else were we talking about? Like Devin Williams with his changeup early on in the year, couldn't find it. Same thing with Munoz and his slider. But the last week or so, he's looked like the typical Andres Munoz we've been accustomed to. So yeah, no worries there. The slider is going to get a ton of whiffs out of the zone. He locates it so well. The way he plays it off his fastball, it's just also Andres Munoz changeup. I tweeted it out. His changeup is so nasty when he throws like once every other game. He throws like the nastiest changeup. I'm like, can we I want to see that a little bit more because that's got really, really good potential. He just can't locate it at all, but it's nasty when he mixes it in.
That would be sort of unfair if he was able to throw that changeup for strikes.
Yeah.
All right, next we got a couple of guys that are really interesting before we close out the list with a couple guys that make a lot of sense. Kyle Hurt has been very good in a small sample size, 0.69 ERA and whip, 13 innings. He's got striking out a third of the batters he's faced. He doesn't walk anybody, and Z contact minus OSwing suggests that his fastball thrives in the zone. Nobody can touch it, and then the changeup lands out of it. So it's another Brian Baker clone.
Yeah, and he too, I mean, has like he'll mix in a slider like once a game, once an outing. That is pretty good. Like, just like, it's not a bad slider either. So I don't know. I mean, I'm coming around on Hurt. The command just doesn't make sense to me, because that's never been, like, this type of command has never been there for him. So I'm a little skeptical on that, but the fastball changeup combo plays really well, and then he mixes in the slider every now and then. Yeah, it's a pretty good pitch mix for Hurt. He's definitely the best right-handed reliever in that bullpen right now, I think.
All right, Kyle Hurt. Next is Chase Silseth, who, I mean, he's in there. He's still in the running for that Angels closer role. He may be on the outside looking in, and that's because he just walks so many guys, and the strikeouts just haven't been there. I mean, that's going to happen.
He is the weirdest one on this list by
showing a lot of splitters. Yeah. And I think it's because he can't find the zone. So when he does finally find the zone, people are, I think, surprised, because they're usually up there looking for a walk, and that usually works.
He's the only one on here, with a sub 20% K rate, 17% walk rate. But yeah, the splitter does get swing and miss and chase. So I get why he's on this list. But yeah, the command, it's again, splitter guys are tough to the command needs to get better somehow with him. So before they can trust him. But yeah, there's some interesting, pitches there to work with, I guess, with Silseth.
Yeah. Yep. All right. The last two are Cade Smith and Adrian Morejon. Smith makes sense. He's been one of the best relievers in baseball this year. He's leading the American League in saves, and Morejon has been one of the underperforming relievers in baseball, but definitely looks improved this year. Looks like his stuff makes him one of the best relievers in baseball. I'm excited to see what Morejon can do the rest of the year, but both of these guys are very dominant, and they can avoid contact in the zone and get guys to chase their pitches out of it.
Yeah, Morejon's going to be okay. He had a couple singled out outings, where just getting these opposite field bleeders.
Yeah.
And yeah, he's been fine lately. He's starting to be dominant again. And yeah, Cade Smith, 2 weeks into the year, kind of was a little concerning with Cade Smith, and now look at the numbers. He's been awesome lately. Yeah, no concern. Only concern with him is just that the Guardians just love to abuse their relievers, and hopefully he's able to withstand another 75 innings, because he's been used a lot the last 2 years.
All right. And that will do it for this episode of the In the Pen podcast. Rick, why don't you go ahead and plug your socials and anything else you're working on?
Yeah, you can find me on socials at I am Rick Graham. Nothing new going on as far as what I'm working on, just the daily RP streamer, RP roundup articles, as well as save plus holds and save only list on Tuesday nights.
All right. You can follow me on socials at Jake Crumpler, where I do daily SP streamers and I break down every single start via the pitcher list player cards. You can also find more of my work over at crumplerbaseball.com. I write for Baseball HQ as well, doing playing time analysis for a few teams. You can follow the pod at In the Pen Pod. You can also listen to me on the First Pitch Pod. But that will do it for this episode 161 of the In the Pen podcast. We'll talk to you all next week.